Good evening, to everyone. Welcome to the Raw Approach. You know who it is, Dr. Woods in the house. What's up with it? Hey, every one of you all that's out there in social media land, hey, hit like, share it with your friends. We have guests coming in every week. We want to pub this up. We want to pub your friends. So put that information out there. Also, go to the Raw Approach on YouTube. Hit subscribe so you can get all the latest information that's going on with the Raw Approach. You know what I'm saying? All right, now, without further ado, we got the one, the only, Dr. She got to make sure I don't mess up her name, Ptosha Ford Jackson in the house. And I'm going to let her introduce herself. And anyone that's on the streaming, if you want to come on, ask questions or concerns, or give a shout out to anyone, or just to participate, hey, show your face and I bring you on. If you are on Facebook and you have any concerns or questions that you want to ask, and I can let her know as well, I put that out there. Remember, share it, and continue to share it. We're about to blow this site up on tonight. All right, it's all yours, Dr. Jackson. Introduce yourself for the folks.
Well, good evening. Good evening. Thank you for having me. For many of you that know me, I am Dr. Ptosha Jackson. I have been a registered nurse for 30 years. I started when I was 2 years old, just in case you're wondering. Currently, I am serving as the Vice President Chief Nursing Officer at Methodist LeBonheur Healthcare South. In my previous roles, I've done labor and delivery, NICU, well baby nursery. I've done some nursing informatics, IT, where I've designed a nursing system, taught nursing school, and then been in management from there, now in the executive role. So enough about me. Dr. Porkchop, let's get to the conversation at hand.
Well, if I had to tell another person, it's Dr. Porkchop. Okay, take that R out. You know we country, not Porkchop.
Dr. Chop, how about that? Dr. Chop.
Dr. Chop, good. Hey, good to have you. Welcome to the show. You got a lot of energy for the folks. So I'm about to turn you loose and let you do your thing. I want to go back to something that you said. You started at the age of 2.
Started when I was 2. You don't believe that? Yeah, 30 years. It'll be 30 years in July of this year. So, of course, I couldn't have started in my 20s if I looked young, right? Started when I was 2 years old.
Okay. Well, hey, whatever it takes for you to do what you do, you do. All right? Let's go ahead and hop on into it. What inspired you with the career going to nursing?
So I've always been one that liked to help people. So I originally thought about being a physician and going to med school. After I took a few of those chemistries, now mind you, I was an A student, but after I took a few of those chemistry classes, I was like, let me try nursing. They didn't have as many chemistry classes on the curriculum. However, I will say, and a lot of the people that went to Austin P with us know I was the nerd of Austin P. So I did graduate in about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So from there, I got a psychology degree because at that time, the nursing program would only allow like 20 students at a time.
Right.
So I got accepted into the program, but it was like, you got to wait a semester. So my parents was like, nope, you got to come home. Can't just hang out and wait. So I came home, graduated with a degree in psychology from Austin P, and came home and then got a second bachelor's degree in nursing from the University of Memphis. Yeah, so just working in nursing and helping people. You know, a lot of people say I talk to a tree if it talk back.
Well, yeah, I don't blame your family for making you come on home. Austin P was the place. Austin P, man, I tell people Austin P is the best secret that a lot of people don't know. And I have, and I've seen so many young folks go up to Austin P now, go up there and talk about they didn't have fun and all this type of stuff. I'm like, man, y'all gotta understand, you gotta make your fun at the P.
We had a different experience at Austin P. And the thing is, all of us are still tight now, 36 years later. We're
That's what's
all still a tight knit group because we were all we had at Austin P at the time. So
and people, we talked about that when we were talking about the HBCUs, PWIs, and all that.
right.
And you got some people that talk about the difference in the experiences and all that type of stuff, but I tell them I disagree with that to effect, because if you never went, you don't know what the experience was.
Right.
So
That's right.
you can't compare it. Now,
It's
if
hard to
you,
explain. It's hard to explain.
it's hard to
Yeah.
explain.
It's
And
hard to explain.
April said that's the best experience ever. What you
We
said,
all
April?
say that April
Yeah,
and April is a Delta. I'm an AKA. We all pledged at the same time, and we are just as tight sisters as anything. You hear a lot of Divine Nine don't get along. That's not the case. When we were at Austin P, we helped each other for sure when we were all online,
yeah,
and
yeah.
we're all still tight today.
And I guess I tell people I'm showing my age, because the divine nine is hard for me to get to, because I'm so used to the elite eight.
Right? They see you telling your age. You telling
Yeah,
your age.
I'm telling my age, but hey, it is what it is. Let's go back and let's dive into this. Let's talk about your leadership style, 'cause I know you have a team of people that you're dealing with. How do you lead?
So for me, transformational leadership style is the best for me.
Okay.
It gives me the most of two worlds. And what I mean by that is I can inspire people, but at the same time, I can lead people. So that transformational piece. Now, I can be authoritative when I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
If there's some data we need to do, if there's some patient care issues we need, if there is some numbers we have to hit, and I know the team can do it, I can be very authoritative. But my overall leadership style is very transformational. Um,
And I love transformation. That's my thing. I use transformational along with servant leadership.
mhm.
I'm just the type that I like to be able to show people what I want them to do,
Yeah,
and I expect them to be able to duplicate or take that and take ownership with it and
yeah,
run with it.
yeah,
And I like to use reflecting phrases to understand, to get together understanding from them to see if they really understood what I asked them
yeah, yeah. And I will say, if you don't understand, let's ask questions. But I get a task,
to
even
do.
though I'm executive leadership, I get a task from the leadership higher than me. I bring it down to my team, and then I expect them to take it to their team. So that's how you funnel communication. But I'm not a micromanager.
Yeah,
So I'm not going to call you every day to say, "Did you get it done? Did you get it done? Did you get it done?" You
yeah.
can't be on my team if I got to call you every day to say, "Hey, I'm still waiting."
Hey, let me tell
Gotta
you,
have high performers on the team. Can't have any slackers.
I totally agree with you on that one. I used to always tell my supervisors to communicate this with your people.
Right.
Um, and it's not a bad thing. It's just not being negative or anything like that. But if I have to come down and do your job, then I don't need you. You
Yeah,
know,
and that's the thing that's different about nursing. So even just the whole medical field,
mhm,
people are there sick, so they're relying on us
mhm,
to help them.
mhm.
And I just got to say, these men are the worst patients ever.
Why?
Y'all are used to being in control. If we say, hey, you're going to be in the hospital for 3 to 4 days, you need IV fluids, you got to wear this pee bag,
Oh Lord.
you got to take these medicines when I bring them in the room. We kind of take away all your control. The first thing a man asks is, when can I go home? Women, we go get there and get all the rest we can get. If they say we stay at 10 days, you guess what? We go stay 10 days.
Well, years ago, people used to use hospitals for go get a break from the family. I'm just
We
so
still
that
see
makes
some of that
a lot
around
of sense.
Christmas time.
And when I say people, it was the women that was going to the hospital. I just need a break. And when I tell people that, they be like, "Boy, they were." I said, "Yes, they was using it. That's why hospitals came up with these timelines according to why you there, how many days you gonna be able to get." Yeah.
That's right. Yeah,
But some
insurance now
people,
dictate you can only stay 1 day, 2 days. They do dictate now. And mental health is the piece that really hones in nowadays. When we were growing up, you couldn't talk about if you were depressed or that person
right.
crazy. You just couldn't. Everybody had that one person in their family that they was kind of scared of. You looked at side eye because you knew something was wrong with them, but you just couldn't
But
say they
it's that you
crazy.
move too quick, it made everybody nervous.
But that's the thing. Now you have so many people that go through things, and I would tell you, in the medical field, we all went through COVID. Those were some rough times. We were used to dealing with death. We were used to dealing with issues. But when you had mama, daddy, the son, the daughter, the grandmama, and granddaddy all come in and they all die at the same time, that was a mental piece. We would go home thinking, please be here when we come back in the morning. And they wouldn't be. They wouldn't make it through the night.
Yeah.
So COVID was a time that really cause nursing or even the whole medical field to grow up real quick and come up with a solution. Um, so it wasn't just mental health for the families, it was mental health for us as caretakers.
Let me tell you this. I'm gonna say it was mental health for any and everyone that was considered uh, necessary or whatever the word that they used back then. Uh,
Uh-huh.
just like for us that was in the detention center era, lockdowns and we had to be there. I mean, 24/7. That facility gotta run. You know what I'm saying? So,
The
and then
hospital didn't
until
close. Your facility didn't close. We didn't see at the bottom of the screen. This hospital's closed today because of COVID, or this hospital's closed because of snow.
nah,
Talking to some of my educators out there that get snow days, some people don't get that. We
yeah,
don't we don't get that. So
yeah. So it was one of them days, and then it was so sad. A lot of people, as much as you needed, a lot of people lost jobs because they couldn't come to work if it wasn't, a COVID issue.
that's
But
right.
I mean, it was one of them things that they said, "Hey, you got this many days that you got to be back to work." And I mean, it was a time that it really scared and put a lot of fear into people.
Yeah.
But just like anything, you go through time, and as that time goes, you look back and you be like, "Man, is that what we was really dealing with?"
It's been 5 years since COVID, and I can remember as if it was yesterday.
Yeah,
I remember the world shut down. That's when restaurants had to figure out you can't come in, let us bring it to the car.
yeah,
But they still had to survive too.
yeah. And then
So
also as home life, a lot of people realized they didn't like each other. I'm just being real. A lot of people realized that they didn't like each other.
well, we as women figured out how to do our nails at home, how to do our hair at home,
Yeah,
because we couldn't go anywhere. So you're right. We did puzzles, and then after about 2 weeks, you're like, "Look, this ain't gonna work. We
you
at home
know,
too much."
yeah, you
Yeah, you
know,
realize you don't like. But for me, I had to go to work, but I didn't go around my parents or my mother-in-law, people like the elderly, because I was around it, so I didn't want to be around them, not knowing what I would bring home. So I, made sure I stayed away from like my elderly parents and mother-in-law, because I did not want. And to this day, that we know of, they haven't had COVID. I haven't had COVID. But I
yeah.
always say, as we know of, we could have had a little cough or a little cold and thought it was COVID, but
I mean,
no
it was so
true
crazy
symptoms.
when in the detention center. What we did was we had everybody tested when it first
Yeah,
came
yeah,
out,
that's right.
including myself, including all administration, including all the staff, including all the kids. And then by the time we got the results back, we got them back on the 13th day. And this was when they said you had to be out for 14 days. So those of us that had it, we had to, like they said that I had it, and I never had any symptoms. So I had to take out work for a day. We had to put the kids that was diagnosed with COVID, we had to lock them down for a day. And I'm like, man, can we just not take these results and put them to the side? I mean, we're talking about really a couple of hours. We
Right.
received it, and then my the director, he looked at the name again. He said, "Was this you? Your name's on here for COVID positive." I'm like, I think that's a mistake. He said, "Yeah, but you go home though."
all right. Had to go by the results.
You gotta go
We, as
for
the
the result.
medical profession, we never tested. We only tested if we had symptoms, because we were gowned and gloved. So we had on special masks, we even had the lines in our faces, from wearing them for so long. So,
Uh-huh.
when you talk about the medical field and you talk about leadership, that was a time that I stepped out of leadership so I could go back into staffing to help the team. Because at that point, it wasn't any, big eyes, small U's. We were all on the battleground together, trying to figure out how to care for the patient and the family. So that was a time that leadership, yeah, you may have been in leadership, but you were also dressed out helping. Even if you just took a tray in the room to give to a patient, you were helping to do something.
And the good thing, well, it became good for some people, bad for others. But April made a statement right here that makes so much sense. She said the job market shifted and many people went to work from home,
That's
which is
right.
not ideal for everyone from a performance standpoint,
That's right.
especially those that had small children and at home and could not send them to daycare because they
That's
were
right.
close as well.
That's
But
right, April. That's right.
but I will tell you that that's one of the things that a lot of people is now suffering from as that shift is going back.
Well,
Where
guess what?
jobs,
Guess what,
which,
Dr. Chop? Guess what? It's time. Now, you got some people that work from home. I did not get the opportunity to work from home. Now, I have a close friend, Stacy. She was able to work from home. She set up her whole little cute office in her house, got everything done. Didn't have to spend gas money, car stayed full all the time, didn't put no miles on the car.
yeah, it makes a
I had
difference.
to hit it. I had to go.
Yeah, yeah, it makes
So
a difference.
now that we're telling people you got to come back to the office, some
Well,
people, yeah, they want to do it, but the others like, hey, I've been working from home for 5 years. I don't want to do it.
well, you have to. April said, I still work from home and I love it, and I understand. I like working from home and I love every bit of. I only been doing it for like a year or so. But this is what I have to say is that a lot of times we got to look at it from a realistic perspective. Uh, it became beneficial as she was talking about the young kids, where people they start working from home, they start getting their schedules together, they start working on how to deal with the kids, how to go do A, B, C, D, E, F, and still come back to work. You got some people that have flexible schedules that where they can come in, start early in the morning, and come back work later at night,
Right.
and but still get the job done. So going back to work for some people, it's like making a career decision because now you looking at I got to go back to work now. I'm going back to driving 40 minutes. Then in traffic, it might be an hour and a half.
That's
And
right.
and now I got to readjust my schedule, see how I'm gonna get these kids and make sure somebody's at home. I mean, it's a big shift. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That same shift that it took to go and work from home. Now you got to get yourself minded, ready to see if even going back in that office is even an option for some people.
Is That's right. And again, even today, you still got some people struggling. They don't want to be around people. Because during that time, it wasn't any social skills. You wasn't around. You were only around the person you lived in the house with. The streets were, the stores were closed. The streets were empty.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, some people started their own businesses too during
A
that
lot of
time.
people did.
They figured it
A
found
lot
a
of
trade.
clothing, a lot of clothing and apparel shops blew up
Right. Don't
right then
forget
and there.
hair and nails. Now we
Yeah,
still
yeah.
had to
But
have
see, I
that.
wouldn't know nothing about that.
We still wanted hair and nails, even though we weren't going nowhere. That was still part of, we went and bought all this. I was just talking to a sorority sister the other day, Lynette Washington, Dr. Lynette, and she was saying she just threw out all this nail polish she bought during COVID because she was trying to do her own nails at home.
Yeah.
Now we've kind of gotten back to a norm, but I will tell you, when somebody cough, we kind of look at them.
Oh yeah.
You can't cough these days.
No. So, it ain't necessarily a cough. It's that it's that cough that makes me nervous. You in the restaurant eating and coughing like that? What? Come on now, go take care of that. You know,
COVID
so
ain't gone. It's not gone, but
no,
I
it's not
think we're
gone, but
all, it
it
made
makes
us
you
all
nervous.
aware. It made us all aware. Some of us were very compliant with masks. During that time, we learned a lot. Um, but it also changed, people was like, well, I always wash my hands. Yeah, but you didn't wash them as much as we washed them during COVID. You saw people getting gas and gloves and masks.
Yeah,
There was a time we
all
didn't get
together,
gas.
all
Oh,
together, all
yeah,
together.
yeah.
Before we move on, I got a couple more statements from,
Okay, okay,
and I think this is a friend of yours, and I hope I don't mess up her name.
okay.
Jeanette.
Ben Jeanette.
Okay,
Yes.
she identifies that she worked from home, she loved it, and then Stephanie Steele Nelson stated that she's still looking at people sideways when they call. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Let's dive in.
Stephanie, one of our Austin Peay sisters, and Ben
Yeah,
Jeanette is one of my sorority sisters. But yes, Ben Jeanette does work for the hospital in IT, and our IT team. A lot of them still continue today to work from home. They haven't all come back from COVID, so
I know
yep.
they said it. Don't rush it. Don't speak
Don't-
them up. So let's go ahead and talk about this doctoral journey. What got you moving that way?
Well, if I am correct, we probably got our doctorals about the same time you and I did. I think I graduated and I looked up a few weeks later and you had graduated. There was a time that I had said I would never, ever have a doctoral. I felt like I had done enough school because I have two bachelors, I have a master's, a few certifications here and there. So I was like, hey, that's enough. I don't need anything else. But as I continued to elevate up the career ladder, I felt like I needed the extra information. So I do have a doctorate in nursing practice and executive leadership. I still have about 10, I told you I started when I was 2. So I still have a couple of more years to work, and I want to make sure that I not only have the experience, but I also have the educational knowledge. So no one can say you're not qualified for a position because
Hey,
you don't meet the educational, minimum. When you can go and get the highest degree, then that is something that you can always, no one can take that away from you. They could
no,
try to take your position, but they can't take away the education.
no, and don't
So
think they won't take the position.
you
Don't
can
think they
always be
won't.
You
You can always replace. Hey,
can always be
we
replaced.
talked about that last week, and I tell people, I mean, it's a sad situation. You don't think you can be replaced? Die and see what
Right,
happens.
right.
You have
Take
to
off
let.
for a few weeks. Yeah, yeah, that's right. All of us could be replaced. Now we don't want to be, or we think in our mind, hey, nobody can do it like me, and somebody can come along and do it probably better.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And
yeah,
I tell people, especially in corrections, I don't identify myself as doing things perfect.
right.
Uh, and I just tell people I make it look easy.
Ah,
You know what I'm saying? Because like when I was at the detention center, everybody was like, and I used to go to my director and they used to tell him, well, when Woods leave me, I want this job. I want this job. I can do it. I can do it. So when I left, man, people was coming in the position like, man, I ain't getting up, man. No, man, they get
it
there.
ain't for me.
But
It ain't for me.
it ain't for them, but they had to figure it out because it's more than just punching the clock and looking good. In that level, you got to have rapport. You got to have rapport with the community. You got to have rapport. I mean, especially in the correctional facility, you got to have rapport with the outside community, big time, as
That's
well as
right.
rapport with the inmates or the youth or however you want. Because what is that? It's a TV show. I can't believe I just drew a blank. The Mayor of Kingstown.
Okay.
I would advise anyone that's in this facility, in that lifestyle, to watch the Mayor of Kingstown
Okay.
because if it is hard and it's sad, it is hard to move in that level of that industry, and you don't have that connection to that outside because
You'll be lost.
you're gonna be lost because especially
Hmm.
with dealing with the kids, a lot of the kids came from well-to-do family, middle class families, but they big homie had more insight and more influence on them than their parents done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you got a connection, with the outside world, and you can be like, without putting the information out, you can be like, hey man, when you get a chance, because they first thing they're gonna do is because everybody, that thing about career, everybody know who's coming. They know who's coming before you come, before you
That's
even
right.
know about it. But so my thing is, if you're trying to have peace in these industries, man, you got to know the parents, and you got to get the parents to say, now that your child is here, let's talk about the reality of your child.
Right.
And you're gonna get the call talking about, well, little Junior said that y'all done this. Come on now, Junior be better than we do. and those were the type of conversation I used to have to have with the parents. And I say, ain't nobody here to hurt your child. But at the end of the day, I say, here in Nashville, I mean, they got 100 square miles to run from each other. In detention, the same people they've been shooting at, you ain't got 100 square feet.
Right there with them.
So it's not if it's gonna happen, it's when it's gonna happen.
When it's gonna happen.
You know what I'm saying?
So for me to, and I was gonna say, in my world, to put a small spin on that, so we have to take care of patients. We take care of the gunshot wounds, whether they're 2 years old up to 99 years old. And a lot of times it's family shooting family, but you still have to be able to talk and present yourself in a dynamic to say, okay, little Johnny got shot. He wasn't just out here in the library reading a book. Little Johnny was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing, and now he's here in the hospital with a gunshot wound. So you talk about, you have to relate to the community. Sometimes when you're trying to explain to a parent why your child is here shot, he a good kid. I don't know why he got shot. Okay, let me just say this. He was somewhere he didn't need to be.
And he knew it was about to go down.
He knew something was going to happen, but here we are. And how can we move forward? What can we offer to you and your family that, one, help take care of him? Because Johnny don't need to come back next week with another gunshot wound. But what can we do? And that's what we bring in, like social workers and different other jobs in the hospital to try to help parents understand that. So I know we were talking about the doctoral journey, but you said something, you have to be able to relate to the community. Because I'm in a hospital that's in an inner city community. I came from a hospital that was in a suburb. So for me, I've seen both sides of, I may have had the heroin kids in my suburbs that came in with overdoses. And now I'm in the inner city, so you may see more of your gunshot wounds. Same treatment, just different environments. But you still have to be able to connect to the community, because now when I go out and talk in the community, we talk about things just like this, what we're seeing in the hospital. You just have to be able to adjust your conversation so that people understand when you're in the community. And I think just having that extra degree helps with that. And I know we have some educators on the line. We have some pharmacists on the line. We have some IT people. We have, people that work with the community, such as at MLGNW, detention centers. All of us have a specialty where we can help in the community. Many of us got a bachelor's, but we also went back and got a master's. These kids today, they don't go get a job. They graduate with the bachelor's and go right back to school to get the master's, and then continue on to get the doctoral and then get the job. In which we didn't do that back then. All of us, we were happy to get that bachelor's.
Well, but I think a lot of that changed when we became educated.
Right.
And as we became educated, we forced our kids to become more and more educated.
Right.
To go ahead and get this stuff out of the way while you're young.
Right.
And for some of us, you might go and get this while I got this money. Let's go and be real.
That's right. That's right. Because later it might not come up.
Because you only got another 2 years worth of education out of me anyway. You got to get it while you can, because in a minute it's going to be all about daddy.
Right, but let me tell you what's different as well. The kids now come out, but they want your job. They not gonna work 30 years to get to your position.
Oh yeah.
I meet the nurses now. I interview them, and they say, "Where you want to be in 5 years?" Oh, 5 years. I'm gonna be at another place, but I want your job in the next year. It don't work like that. But that is the mentality. We all knew we had to work for positions. We all knew we had to work, stay in school. A bachelor's to us was, hey, a higher degree. Now a bachelor's is almost like a diploma.
Yeah.
graduated from high school.
Absolutely. Mhm.
But we knew we had to work to get to our positions. These kids now, no, I want what you have, and I want it tomorrow.
That's
Uh,
true. That's
when
true.
I tell people I've been on the job 30 years, young people look at me, why would you stay in one hospital for 30 years? It's just, they don't believe in that. You look at resumes now and they're jumping each year. Some of them 6 months. Every 6 months, they're changing jobs.
Hey, we talk about in the youth development of for kids and stuff. It's whenever they can get another quarter. if they ain't
Changing
get another,
jobs.
if they ain't get another quarter, man, that job is gone. Because the sad part about it in that industry, it's not like you got people knocking the door down to come in there to work with these kids and all that
That's
stuff.
right. That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? I said, let's be real. And then, so they think, well, if I'm gonna deal with this type thing, I need more money.
It's
And every time, so that means I can go over here for 6 months, get another quarter here. So at the end of a year, I only got another dollar. I mean, but that's their mindset.
That's the mindset. And we as in our age group now have to learn and adapt to that. Because there was a time we frowned on people that changed jobs every year.
Yeah.
But now that's almost like the norm. It looks like a growth opportunity because they were changing to go higher or to get growth or more opportunity. So it's different compared to when we went to school, we graduated, we went through our degrees versus now being in school, getting our degrees and actually getting our positions. So,
That's true. You got before we
mhm.
move on to the next one, you got a couple of people that made the statements. And Tonita, Tonita,
Tanita, yes, Tanita,
Tonita.
yes, she's one of my nursing friends.
Okay, she was, as you were talking about being relatable. She had put that out there before you said about you got to be relatable. And
Mm-hmm.
then Melanie, Miss Moody.
Hi,
Uh,
Miss Mel. Mel and Elgin Moody. That's our Austin P people.
Now, Melanie stated that many want your positions because you make it look easy, but they can't handle the responsibility that you carry. Now,
That's right.
and we understand that, because
And Dr. Chop,
there's pressure.
and I got to tell you about Miss Mel Moody.
And I got a story about her too.
We got some stories
Go
about her.
ahead.
All of us that went to Austin P have stories about her. However, I have this one, and she already know what I'm about to say. We were in a room full of 500 people. Mel ran the 911 dispatch area. A lot of us know Mel and the position she held.
Yeah.
We needed an ambulance probably in 2 seconds. I went across the room. I told Mel we needed an ambulance. The ambulance people showed up in 1 second.
Melanie, uh-oh.
We called her Olivia Pope. I don't know if you remember Olivia Pope. We
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
her, came out,
Make things happen.
make things happen. And she was in a position where she worked. She, got her title, got her position, and she's now retired. She's done her 25 years, less than 60 years old, right in her early 50s, mid 50s, and is retired and enjoying life. That's what education afforded her to be on a job for 25 years, can retire, and now kick back and relax. While some of us
Absolutely.
still working, Mel, some of us still working. However, her and her husband both, who is Elgin, is also P people, retired.
Yeah.
So they're examples now for their kids that you can go to college, work, stay on a job, and get the benefits and still retire and enjoy life while you're able to walk, talk, move.
Absolutely.
Um, so
Absolutely.
Moody's, you got a story.
Yeah. Melanie, Melanie took care of me at the peak.
She took care of all of us in Austin.
She was mama. I mean, she made sure, people ate. Melanie made sure. I mean, she was, but what you mean you ain't got no meal plan? Oh, come on.
She's still doing that today, though. She makes sure everybody still eat.
And I tell everybody that, because, especially for a person like myself that first time going to college, family, ain't never been to college, and you just trying to figure it out. And I tell people all the time, like when we take our kids to college, man, we gotta go rent a big SUV if you don't have one, and then you still going to Walmart shopping up the store, and then you got to go spend all this money, make sure they got food in there, and
Don't forget the trunk parties now. They have the trunk parties before they go. We didn't have that. We didn't have that. My
we
mom
didn't
and
have none of that.
dad. I went up with one black trunk, and it had everything in it. Now I may have had the coordinated comforter and the curtains and the phone.
I didn't have none of that. I had the blue trunk, and it fit in everything I had fit in the back of my auntie's Ford Tempo. Yeah. I mean everything because it was my auntie, my mom, and my cousin that brought me up to Austin P. But everything fit in the back of that car, and I sit there and I'd be like, man, it was really like, well, okay, poof, go live life.
See you. Yeah. I think I cried. I probably cried for the first 3 months. After that, it was like, okay, I'm good. I got used to everybody. I got friends.
Now, I'm going to tell you what changed me, then we got to move on. What changed for me was the 3-day orientation. When we had that 3-day orientation that you came up as a freshman, and then my brother came and brought me home, and I was in the driveway, and I'm sitting there looking, I was like, I'm ready to go back.
Right.
It's on now. It's on. And I knew right then and there I was not coming back home. Yeah. It was over. It was done.
Yeah.
It was done.
Well, I had some brothers that felt sorry for me, so they picked me up every weekend. So I got a chance to come home every weekend. And then after a while, they was like, oh, we're not going to keep coming to get you. Bring you home every weekend. So, but yeah, we got a lot of Austin P colleagues on here, and we do thank you all for joining because we all started that college journey together.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Some people said, Stephanie said, yep, that refrigerator. When you had that little refrigerator, you was doing a little something.
But now those little, yeah.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Work-life balance, how do you handle it?
Whew. So for me, I don't have children. I have plenty of nieces, nephews, and other people's children that I, help take care of. But for me, it's traveling. Traveling and even something as simple as going to dinner with girlfriends or family. Again, the nails, the hair, the toes, just relaxation. Sometimes even me and my aunt, sometimes every Saturday go walking in Shelby Farms. Work-life balance is something that I do push to all of my leaders because we're in a field that's stressful. I mean, we get people to come in that's sick. We have no idea what's wrong with them, and we got to try to fix them. So just day to day, people come in, heart attacks, and you working hard to make sure they see another birthday. Yeah. So you got to do something to take your mind off of your day-to-day work because if they don't make it, it's stressful. But if they make it, you're happy. So you have to have that balance. Church, a lot of y'all know I'm a church girl. That really helps because we forget that piece that a lot of times religion really does help. I do work for a faith-based organization that is okay to pray with patients, but we do have a lot of hospitals in our city that do not allow that. Mm-hmm. Or that do not have chaplains of different denominations come by to see you. I do try to see every single person that set foot in any of my Methodist hospitals. I do try to visit or make sure somebody visit on my behalf because sometimes that's the only thing that'll put a smile on somebody's face if they know Ptosha came by to see them. Now, if I go in the hospital, I'm gonna expect the same thing. Y'all better come see me. Y'all better come. I don't care if you lined up at the door, but I do try to always go see. And especially my P people, I do try to go see a lot of my college friends. If you have to go in the hospital, then I do try to at least visit or send someone on my behalf to visit and say, hey, you're here. So that work-life balance is very important. And again, for me, that is also going to visit people or just getting out. I am in a sorority, so doing that community service with my AKA group.
Let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Hold on before since you brought it up. Since you brought it up, hold on. I got something I want to put out there for the folks. Since you put it out there, I gotta go ahead and let them hear you. Where you at? You ready for it?
Ada sisters. I got our mother. Everybody knows the Ada song.
Well, let's talk about that sorority life. How is it? How do you enjoying it? And I have a lot of people is trying to become part of the grad chapters, and some people, of different things, of fraternities and sororities, and some people find it a little bit difficult. Some people find, it's just a different experience as a whole.
Yeah.
From compared to undergrad, and I tell them all the time, I couldn't see myself not pledging undergrad.
Yeah, and I do tell people that I never all, once they go through even the membership experience or membership intake versus us actually what we say pledge with sisters, but we pledged.
Yeah.
Colleagues out here, we know we pledged. We all helped each other. But it was Mel Moody probably tell every single Austin P person what they did online and when they did it. If you ever sit and talk, here's a book about all of it and what happened and who had what story.
Yeah.
But even today, years ago, but we're all tied by that sorority.
Your sound is going in and out.
Okay. All right. Let's see if that's a little bit better.
Yeah, whatever you just done, that's a lot better.
Okay. So that sorority did ties. What the sorority also did was taught us how to serve. So even today, a lot of us are active in grad chapters where we're doing community service, and just giving back to the community. And that was the purpose of joining the sorority, to have a supreme in service to all mankind. That is our AKA motto. We help each other.
Right.
So that is one thing that we have all continued to do. And men of the Divine Nine, that's what we do. We give back to the community.
Right.
So it's been great being a lady of pink and green. I mean, I love my sisters in red and white, my blue and gold, and my blue and white. But the pink and green, y'all know when we walk into a room, you all have to respect us.
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you at all. I appreciate that. Hey, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your attention. I appreciate everybody that's out there in the social media world that's on the stream on today. So before we get off, I'd like to ask two things. Is there anything that you want to ask me before I get off? I'd like to ask people, give them the opportunity.
Yes. So in college, we never knew where the name pork chop came from. So I'm asking for all the pork chop, as you say. I'm asking for all our college friends. How did you come up with the name pork chop? Even though now you're Dr. Pork Chop.
It's not pork chop, it's pork chop.
Pork chop. I can't say it right. Dr. Chop. I had to ask David Bodie how to say it. He know how to say it.
Yeah.
Tell us how you came up with that name.
You won't get that today.
Chicken.
You won't get that today.
Chicken.
You call me whatever, you still ain't gonna get it today. You have anything else.
Well, no, what I would like to say is thank you. And I think you're doing a great platform just by having your show and just having open topics that people would like to listen to or talk about. Not everybody could do this and be successful. I know you say you were in 9 different countries where people chime in. 17, excuse me. Didn't mean to short you. 17 different countries. And I just want to thank you. I'm honored that you did ask me to come on and we share some time to just talk about some things and reflect back to some of the college days. Some people don't have that.
And I always laugh because the statement that you and I was talking about, you were like, I never heard you speak.
Never. You didn't talk in school. And it's like, now, who was this guy doing all this talking? Yeah, we've all talked about you. Like, have you seen him? He Dr. Child. Didn't say a word in school. Now we can't get you to be quiet.
That's because I was shy.
But again, thank you for having me, and I do thank everyone that joined us tonight to listen. And again, I
So,
appreciate what you are doing,
I
just
appreciate
to
that.
spread the word and have interesting topics that people want to hear, or just conversations that you can free flow and talk about. So
Absolutely, absolutely. I thank you for your time and your attention. To everyone that's out there in social media world, hey, we're gonna be here at the same time, same channel, same platform, and then you're gonna find all the clips on every platform out there possible. And just remember, man, we here to help promote positive leadership from different aspects. My ultimate goal that I like to bring is to share my experience with the tools to hopefully help somebody to build their own toolbox.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
that's my goal. So, hey, thank you all for tuning in. Remember, small victories lead to greater success. I am Dr. Woods, and you have just been hit by the R.A.W. approach. Peace out.